Welcome to Content and Conversations, the podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners that want to prioritize connection and relationship as the primary tool to drive sales. Content and conversations are the two most powerful tools you have to attract the most amazing clients, build solid relationships, and sell more stuff. From sales, marketing, energy, and mindset, we'll discuss everything you need to hit your goals, make more money, and have more fun in your business. Let's go. All right. Hello and welcome back to Content and Conversations, where today we are actually going to dig into the 4 C's of relationship marketing and connection marketing. So the Connection Agency is the name of our company. Obviously, Content and Conversations are what we believe really drive revenue inside of companies, but we really work on the basis of the 4 C's of connection marketing and the 4 C's of relationship-based marketing. And it's really everything that drives our strategy inside of the business. So if you listen to episode 1, we talked about the sales experience, which is really just our baseline for how we implement what I'm about to talk about. Last week I talked about sales energy and really the importance of your mindset and how you show up in sales and how you show up in your marketing in all those different ways. And then today I want to really just walk through what the 4 C's are and what that looks like for you. So let's talk about it. The 4 C's come from my amazing marketing director. Her name is Jessica Kroll. If you guys don't know Jess, you should. She's really amazing. She is so the brainchild of so many of the things we do here at the agency, but the girl loves a good alliteration. So when we were thinking through our frameworks for the agency and how we really wanted to support our clients, came up with the 4 C's. And of course, the C's continue with things like content and conversation. So today I'm going to do probably a little bit more of a teaching style than I traditionally would here on the show, but I think that it's really important for all of us to think about. And this is something that should infuse every single area of your business as a business owner. So I don't care if you're making $1,000 a month or $100,000 a month or $1 million a month. These things are still the foundation that your marketing strategy should be built on. And I think that's one of the things that I love so much about marketing is it touches businesses in so many different phases and everything we have to change as we evolve, right? So let's talk about the 4 C's, right? And I want to first start with this idea of like sales versus marketing, right? Which one comes first? And as somebody who grew up selling marketing for 15 years, I believe that sales comes first. And the reason I believe that is because I sold millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff in my career without ever actually having strong marketing supporting me. Frankly, I don't think I had strong marketing supporting me until I started my own company. And I mean, I was in sales for 15 years where I went out into the world, built relationships and sold stuff. So, if you are in that beginning stage as a business, where do I focus my attention first? Your sales skills, hands down, right? As your sales skills improve, your revenue grows. As your revenue grows, then you're going to need more marketing to help create more of that interest for you, right? So, we believe in, the idea that it's both, right? But we all think that it goes down to relationships, right? Relationships are the easiest and fastest way to grow any kind of business. And the cool thing is that relationship building is both a sales and a marketing activity, which is why we are a sales and marketing company. But we all know that the old school stuff doesn't work, right? The human psychology of sales and marketing has not changed, right? But we now have access to so much information in a way we didn't have before, which means our buyers have access to so much information they didn't have before, right? When I was selling radio advertising back in 2005, our clients didn't have access to information like they did today. The only way that they really got information on how am I going to market my business was from the people who were selling it to them, right? It was the advertising agencies. In my case, I was selling radio advertising. Like we were educating our clients. They couldn't just go to Google and figure out what's the best way to market my business. They had to wait for a salesperson or somebody to come tell them and educate them on what was best. And that has obviously changed, right? Our people have access to more information than ever before. And so we have to change the way we sell and market, right? Human psychology doesn't change, but the way that we show up and sell and market has to change, which is really where the 4 C's come from and our passion in general, right? Because it's really hard to get attention, right? There's so many things competing for our ideal client's attention that we have to be really, really good and really laser focused to get their attention and to pull them in. And we all know that there's a fine line between providing value and giving away the farm, right? We're all told like educational and we're like, well, how much do I give away to people who don't need me? And these are all the questions that we answer every single day. But we really believe when we put people first and we put the experience first, that we can create really great buying experiences for our clients and help you hit all of your revenue goals inside of your business, right? So we like to joke around and talk about marketing as it relates to dating in general, right? When you think of the first impression, how do we make first impressions with people? There's some level of attraction, there's some level of connection to the person on the other end, or there's not. As it relates to marketing, you have to get your ideal clients' intent and attention, right? And you have to be willing to show your true self. It does you no good to, show up being somebody you're not in a first date with someone, or in that first impression with somebody, because they're eventually going to find out you're not. It's the same thing in our marketing. And this is actually one of the things that plagues people the most, is they are not showing up as themselves in their marketing. They're showing up how they think they show up, how so-and-so shows up, how their coach shows up, how that other marketer that I follow on social media, how I think people want me to show up. But the most important thing is our marketing is we have to be genuine to ourselves. We have to be true to ourselves. And that's just such an important part of being successful with this. And then there's like the dating and marriage game, right? Would you go on, on one date with someone and then commit to marriage? No. Right? Would you marry someone who only talks about themselves and has no interest in you, no interest in your goals? Probably not. It's all about this give and take and getting to know one another and building this relationship. And so your very best clients want to have that relationship with you. You're not going to be a match for everybody in your ecosystem, every person that you bring in, everybody who experiences you and your brand. It's not going to work. And that's totally okay. Right? But what matters is that you work with clients that you can help move towards their goal while they help you move towards yours. Right. And then, of course, there's divorce, right? If a partner or marriage communication is no longer important, that doesn't go well. Couples that stop communicating end up in divorce. And that's the same with clients. When you work really hard to bring a client in, but you don't communicate with them once they're in, it's not going to go well for you either. So when you stop communicating with those clients and create that transactional relationship, while you may win clients on the front end, it may drive a lot of revenue. It's not going to drive long-term monthly recurring revenue, which is really the goal that we're all working for. So the 4 C's, I will finally get to that for you. The 4 C's of connection marketing are connect, create, convert, and communicate. Connect, create, convert, and communicate. So starting with connect, right? In order for potential clients to buy from you, they have to feel connected to you. People want to know who you are, what you do, why you're different, why you do it. They want to know you. And this is a big shift that has happened. This is why personal branding has become so important and so powerful. Several years ago, you didn't have to have a personal brand. You could have a company brand. Nowadays, people do business with people. They don't care about your company. They care about you, right? Like if you watch anything that's happening right now, if anybody's watching what's going on in the news and in the world, it's no longer about, Twitter and Threads. It's about Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, right? Like that is really what it's about. And so somebody might really like Facebook, but they don't like Mark Zuckerberg. They're off Facebook. That's just the way that the world works today, good, bad, or ugly. You don't have to like it, but it's true. Right? So people want to know you as the founder of your company. And some business owners are like, that's not why I got into business. And that's fine. And I'm not to say you can't not grow your business as a personal brand. But my belief is the fastest path to cash is that personal brand. And the fastest path to cash is creating that connection through really sharing who you are, what your values are, what's important to you, what you stand for, because the people who like that are going to be attracted to it and the people who don't are going to be repelled from it. Right. And I think that that's really, really important because people want that relationship. And as humans, at least for most of you that are listening to us now or watching this now, you started your business because of a higher purpose, right? Because of something that felt important to you, whether it's in your business or what your business allows you to do outside of the work that you do, right? Most of us are really heart-centered and heart-focused and heart-driven. So finding that connection can be really easy, but really thinking about things in your marketing, like what do you stand for? Why do they care? What do you value? Why do they care? What is the true vision of your company? And why do they care, right? It all comes down to why do they care? And frankly, most businesses do not ask this question enough in their marketing, right? Why do they care? I'm going to post this thing on social media. I'm going to post this video. I'm going to post this post. I'm going to write this blog. I'm going to do whatever. Why do they care? And if you ask yourself that question more frequently inside of your ideation and your plans for your marketing, you're going to be way more successful. Right? Because it's going to be easier for you to connect with the right people because they're going to naturally be attracted to the stories that you share, the content that you create, because of those shared values, right? And I've said this a million times and I'll say it a million more on this podcast or this show. Our most basic human needs are to feel seen, heard, and understood, which is why the baseline of your marketing is connection, because that is how we show people, right? This is how we become felt seen and understood, correct? Because would you continue to date someone who didn't make you feel this way? The answer is no, right? Is somebody going to continue to follow you, consume your stuff, and ultimately buy from you if they don't feel this way? The answer is no, right? So in this connection phase of your marketing, that's what you're demonstrating. I see you, I hear you, I understand you. And how do we do this? How do we start? So the first thing I'm going to recommend for you here is really knowing who you get the best results for. We all know that you can serve a lot of different people, of course, right? Your skill set probably spans a lot of different places, but there's one group of people that you serve really, really, really more or really, really, really well. And the more that you know about them, the more they'll feel connected to you and your brand. This is why so many people tell you to niche down. I think that most people have niching completely wrong. That's a whole other podcast. But this idea that like when you know who you're serving and why you're serving them and why you're passionate about serving them and why you're passionate about the results that you can get, it's so much easier to create that connection with them, which is ultimately going to lead to them buying. Okay. When we focus on connection, attraction naturally happens. So the second C is create. So now that we're connecting with our audience, it's time to create a relationship, right? We've all heard of the know, like, and trust factor. And as cliche as that sounds, it's true. People buy from people they know, people they like, and people they trust. And depending on what your business offers, the amount of time it takes to create this trust and this relationship is going to vary, right? We strongly believe in being patient. Sometimes people go, date for years before they get married. Whether or not it's a good decision, totally up to you. But if you try to rush this relationship process, you will turn people off. You have all been in that sales funnel, in that marketing funnel, in that sales conversation that has moved way too fast. When you were interested, right? You were intrigued. You wanted to learn more, but it just moved so fast that you were like, whoa, 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 this is a total turnoff, right? To go back to my dating example, when you're having a conversation with that person that's just like overly willing and they're like a puppy and they're like, oh my God, pay attention, look, and they're trying to move you too fast. It's like, whoa, back up, right? It's not that I don't like you. We're just not moving at the same speed. So we have to be willing to be really patient in that entire process. So what I always tell our clients to think about is like, think about how you like to build relationships. Think about how you like to buy, because it always works better when both parties are on the same page. So in the create phase of relationship marketing or connection marketing, we dig into understanding why people buy your products and services. And this isn't why you think they buy. This is why they believe they buy your products and services. And typically those things are different. And most people get that wrong. Right? Most people get that wrong because we focus on what's important to us. So for you, for us, let's say for instance, for us, we do a lot of lead generation. It's a big part of what we do is helping build sales pipelines, correct? So there's a lot of logical reasons why somebody should build a sales pipeline. Like I can give you 100 logical reasons why, but I also understand that most of my clients, we work, probably about 80% of our clients are women, and most of them don't really love outbound, and they're doing it because they believe in it, but they want to do it right. And they want to do it a connection focused way. And so the emotional piece for them is getting over the fear of what will people think if I'm doing all this outbound marketing, right? What are people going to think of me? What are people going to think of whatever, right? There's a whole lot of different things that happen there, but I have to consistently market to the emotional, because the logical reason why is like, of course you want to make more money. Of course you want to close business every single day. That's the most logical reason why people would do business with us, because they like to make money. That's real logical, right? But I have to make sure that I appeal to the emotional reasons why people want to do business with us, and the feelings that they have about it, and the fears that they have about it, and the beliefs that they have about it, right? Like that's really, really important for my ideal client, as they have to feel good about what they're doing. It's important to me too, right? So I'm really good in my marketing of not just talking about the logical reasons of why people should do business with us, but really understanding the emotion of my ideal client and the questions that they have and the things that they're facing as they make a buying decision. And when I do that and do it well, right, that's when people convert for us, because we buy based on emotion and justify with logic. And so we always want to make sure that in this phase of your buying cycle or your experience that we're talking about both of those. So let's talk about some examples of emotional reasons, right? Maybe they'll feel more confident. They'll be able to spend more time with their family. They'll have more energy to do the things that they love, right? By working with you. But the logical reasons are save money or make money, save time, increase revenue. So like really making sure that inside of your marketing strategy, you're focusing on both of those things, whether it's sales or marketing, you're going to be way more powerful because we take that basic human need one step further at this step in the process by focusing on shifting their belief as to why they do or do not need your stuff. Right? So this is really the belief shifting phase when we create that relationship. And perhaps they believe that they can do it better themselves, right? And you want to show them why it's better, easier, faster, cheaper, more efficient to just hire you to do it for them. And perhaps they believe they aren't ready for what you offer yet. Right? Like, I'm just not ready. You want to show them why right now is the best time to get started. And such a great way to do this is to really paint a picture. How's their life going to look in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year if they start today rather than waiting? And I want to be very clear. This is not about manipulating. This is not about convincing. That's not part of any healthy relationship, right? We're creating a relationship with people. And when we convince and when we manipulate and when we strong arm and when we make people feel bad and all this other stuff, we're not doing that at all. Right? So showing someone that you understand them so well and helping them see how a small shift in perspective can make their life and business so much better. That's how you're going to build that lasting relationship. And by taking the time to build a strong relationship with your ideal clients, you'll find that the sales conversation is just the natural next step in the process. Just like in dating, marriage is the natural next step in the process if that's your jam, right? So we're clearly big fans of actually talking to your potential clients. I've said this before, I'll say it a million more times. Conversations equals relationships, and relationships equal clients. The best way to build relationships is to go belly to belly with your people. The best, fastest way to build trust is to actually get into conversation. If you, as the business owner, do not have the time or the energy to do that, a member of your team needs to do it for you. Period. End of. I believe that strongly. I believe that strongly, that when we actually take the time to get to know the people who are interacting with our content, who are following us on social media, who are reading our emails, all of those different things, when we actually take the time to build those relationships, they will be so much more likely to buy from us versus them feeling like they're just a number, they're just a follower, they're just a watcher, they're just a fan, right? I don't want fans, I want clients, right? And the best way to move somebody from fan to client is to actually focus on building that relationship. Really, really, really important. Okay. So let's talk about convert. This is the marriage phase of the relationship, right? This is where we cross over the bridge from marketing to sales, right? While connecting with new people, growing your audience, it's really important. To the point of any marketing, connection marketing, is actually to convert people into paying customers for your business. That is the goal here. We all want to make more money. And the truth is, if you do a good job marketing and are really clear in the connect and create phase, conversion is a natural next step of the process, right? Getting on the phone and talking through it, or sending them a sales page, or sending them a demo or something, is just the natural next step. If you've really created that connection, if you've really, then built that relationship, it's just a very natural next step. And the most important, though obvious and overlooked part of conversation is asking for the sale, right? A lot of business owners worry so much about being too salesy or selling too much. But the truth is, if you want to make money, you have to tell people to buy your stuff. As a society, as humans, we have to be told what to do, right? Like, don't assume that people know that they can just click and buy. Don't assume that they know that they can just send you a DM and learn about your services. Don't assume that they just know they can go to your email. Like, we have to tell people what to do. People are busy, millions of messages coming at them at any given time, right? Like, make it as easy as possible for them to buy your stuff by actually telling them to buy your stuff, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we can sell. So I'm going to walk you through 3 different ways that we use, a lot of our clients use, that are really great, right? So the first one is in your content, right? Tell people to join now, or buy here, or book a consultation. Make it clear, and of course, sell the value of what you're offering. And so this works best when you make it clear what you're selling, who it's the best fit for, and what result they can expect by buying, right? Content marketing for sales is really fantastic. The challenge is that most people rely way too heavily on their content marketing for sales, and they're not doing enough of the other stuff that we talk about here. And then they're like, well, this isn't working. I'm not converting. I'm not signing enough clients, right? Like, content is fantastic, but content is going to work with people that already have a relationship with you. So if you're putting out a lot of content, but you're not getting the results that you want, or you're not signing the number of clients that you would like, or you're not making the amount of money you would make, it's probably important for us to think about the other 2 things, right? So another conversion process that we really like is sales conversations, right? So depending on what you sell, the price point, the ideal client, sales conversations done via phone, Zoom, in person, are all great ways to convert prospects to clients, right? So in this instance, your marketing would be selling the call and the value of that call, right? So I prefer sales conversations. I know there's a lot of people on the internet that like to tell you that you can sell shit without ever having to have a conversation. I'm sure that that's fine, and I'm sure that you can, and we've done it before. But if I'm going to work in an intimate container with somebody, and I'm going to have my hands on their business and work really closely with them, I want to have a conversation first, right? So some people are like, oh, it's based on the price point. I don't think it's always based on the price point, right? I think it's based on how closely are we going to work together, and do I even want to work with you, right? We so often think like, oh, in a sales conversation, I have to convince somebody to work with me. I like to look at it the other way around. Like, convince me that I want to work with you, and not in an arrogant way, but like, this needs to be a positive working relationship. So I personally really love sales calls for anything that I work really intimately with people with. If it's a little hands off, a little bit farther away, I'm down to sell like in the DMs and through content, right? And then the third way that we sell is through conversions events, right? Launches, challenges, webinars, all the different things that are out there in the world. There's a million different ways, right? So you've heard the importance of providing value, and webinars and virtual events are all about providing value, right? Inviting your prospects to an event where you share valuable, important information. At the end of that event, you pitch your products and services, right? Obviously, this same thing can be done in person as well. This, is very hot in the online marketing space. I am a fan, despite the fact that I throw rocks at it pretty regularly in our marketing. But the reason is we shouldn't be dependent, right? I built my first business dependent upon launching. I made a shit ton of money when I launched. When I did launch, I made no money, right? I made no money. I was completely on this launch roller coaster of always needing to be in some sort of live conversion event to get people to buy from me. And while that was fun and it was exciting and it really helped me move fast, it also put me in a place where I had to launch all of the time to keep my business afloat. So it doesn't matter if I didn't want to launch, didn't feel like launching, was over launching, whatever. I had to do it because I had to make money. And we never want our clients to be in that situation where they're being forced to do anything that they do not want to do to make money. But yes, of course, it can be a really powerful strategy and a really great way to build a brand. So I'm a both and kind of girl. You'll learn that the more time that we spend together. But I believe it's both and, right? If conversion events work well for you, keep doing them. But if they're the only way that revenue is coming into your business, you have to find another way, or else you will always be at the mercy of social media, at the mercy of all those other things, which none of us want, right? That doesn't work well for any of us. So that's conversion, right? Find a way that converts, that feels good to you, feels good to your ideal client. One more thing before I move on to this. Also make sure that your conversion process works well for your ideal client. I'm going to give you an example. My first business, we drove over $1 million in sales by live launching, right? We drove over $1 million in sales and it worked really well. I was selling to brand new entrepreneurs in a middle, in the middle of a pandemic, right? So of course, everyone was on their computers watching, willing to participate, willing to sit through long events, willing to do the homework. They didn't have anything else to do, right? So of course it worked well for that person. But then when I switched into my business that I had with my business partner, where we were selling a sales training program to companies or to seven figure like businesses, the $1 million mark or more, those people weren't sitting through a live launch. They just weren't. Right? They didn't have the time to sit with me for 6 hours while I created all this value and created all this crazy emotion and all these other things in order to make money. Like that just wasn't going to work for them. So I had to find a different sales strategy. So you not only want to find the sales strategy that aligns with you, you also have to find the conversion strategy that aligns well with your ideal client, right? And then the fourth C in connection marketing is communication. Marriage is not the last step of your relationship. It's simply the beginning of a new chapter. So similarly, your client relationship doesn't end after you've made the sale. In fact, that's really where the relationship begins, right? Most marketing agencies are so focused on the front end of sales and enrollment process that they forget that the sale is just the beginning. So whether you're selling your product or service that somebody can buy over and over again, or it's a one-time sale, how you communicate with your new client will make all of the difference in the world of the lifetime value of the client, right? People want to be excited to work with you and share their experience with all of their friends, but there has to be proper communication for that next step. Onboarding, appreciation go a long way in retention and renewals. So this is such a simple part of the process, but it's one we were finding so many people were forgetting. It was like, okay, cool, they bought something, now what? And it was like this, duct taped together kind of wonky process that people were, and that's like, no. We want people to feel so excited about doing business with you, about their purchase decision, about saying yes, about making an investment. We want them to feel good. And we do that by continuing to communicate with them when they buy, right? And so this might just be in the email series that they get after they choose to buy with you. This may be like one of the things we do in the connection agency with our done for you clients. Every week they get an update from us. Like, this is what we're doing. So they understand this is the work that we're doing, because some of the stuff we do is behind the scenes and they can't see it, but we want to tell them, hey, we're working, we're thinking about you, you're important to us. And so that's our way of doing that, because it's not just selling new people, right? We have to keep the clients that we have, or we got to get those clients to refer business to us, or we have to sell them something else, right? So the sales process doesn't end just because they bought the one thing. Now we need them to continue to either buy, refer, ascend up the ladder, whatever that looks like for you and your clients. So really making sure that your sales and marketing strategy doesn't end the first time somebody gives you their credit card, and make sure that it continues, is definitely going to increase the lifetime value of that customer and of course the revenue inside of your business. So that, my friends, like I said, I definitely got on my teacher soapbox today. I will not always do that with you. As you saw last week, we were just totally in it with sales energy, but this was just something that felt really important to me, the foundations of who we are as an agency. So as we continue to have these conversations, we can have really intelligent and thoughtful ones. So whether you are watching here on our live show, you're watching this on our podcast, we're so grateful for you. And we will be back next week. Have a good one. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Content and Conversations. If this was helpful for you, I would love if you would follow along, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you next week.